Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We'll chant chapter 2 of the Bhagavad Gita, verses 41 to 45.
व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिः एकेह कुरु नन्दन बहुशाखायनन्ताश्च बुद्धयो व्यवसायिनाम् यामिमां पुष्पितां वाचं प्रवदन्त्यविपश्चितः वेदवादरताः पार्थ नान्यदस्तीति वादिनः कामात्मानस्वर्गपराः जन्मकर्मफलप्रदां क्रियाविशेषबहुलां भोगैश्वर्यगतिं प्रति भोगैश्वर्यप्रसक्तानां तयापहृतचेतसां व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिः समाधौ न विधीयते त्रैगुण्यविषया वेदाः निस्त्रैगुण्यो भवार्जुन निर्द्वन्द्वो नित्यसत्त्वस्तः निर्योगक्षेम आत्मवान्.
In the second chapter called as Sankhya Yoga, in the first 10 shlokas, Arjuna is still continuing to talk. He is in totally depressed condition. So he is going on justifying his stance. And luckily he surrenders to Sri Krishna on the 7th shloka of chapter 2 and asks, what am I supposed to do in this context? What is my duty? I don't know what is right. Should I take up the weapons and fight against the Kauravas? Or should I leave the battle and go to forest and beg? I don't know what is right. Please tell me what I should do. I am your disciple. Then from verse number 11 till 30, Sri Krishna talked about the indestructibility of the Atma. The true knowledge of the self was given to Arjuna and told that if you have this knowledge, you will not be confused, you will not grieve. You will understand from the Atma point of view, there is no birth, there is no death. And from the individual Jiva point of view, there is constant birth and constant death. And each one, according to their karma, goes about living. And therefore, you should not be grieving. He explained all that. Then from 31 till 40, the last topic that we saw in this chapter, he says, your duty to act. You have an obligation to act. You are a Kshatriya. Your Swadharma, your nature is of a warrior. So when unrighteousness has taken over righteousness, you, especially defending righteousness, have to execute your duty. And while executing the duty, in case you die on the battlefield, you will go to Swarga. First of all, while fighting, because you are executing your Swadharma, you will be in tremendous happiness, and that also you are protecting righteousness. So there is absolutely no guilt feeling or anything. So you will be very happy. And secondly, doing your duty without desires, if you do, you exhaust your vasanas. If in case you do that kind of unselfish action, which is a desire for doing something good for the others, then you gain punya, which again will give you swarga. Swarga is not a geographical place. Heaven is not a geographical place. It's a different mind state or frequency that you will be experiencing before next birth. So therefore, fighting this battle, if you die, you will gain Swarga, happiness. If you live, then you enjoy the kingdom. Therefore, there is nothing to really be worried, be concerned. And then he said, Sukha dukke same kritva labha labhau jaya jayau tato yuddhaya yujyasva naivam papama vapsyasi. If you conquer your mind, rise above sukha dukkha labha alabha jaya ajaya, pleasure pain, profit loss, victory defeat, all kinds of pairs of opposites, basically rising above your personal likes and dislikes, your ego, rising above your ego. The tendency to please your ego, if you rise above with the knowledge, then you will be able to be balanced. Otherwise, your mind takes over. So you bring in your intellect, control your mind, and then plunge to fight. He says, Tato yuddhaya yudyajva na evam papama vapsyasi. I think somebody's mic is on. Kindly put it in silent mode, please. Kindly mute it. So therefore, before getting on to facing the external challenges, we need to prepare our inside. When we prepare the inside, which is nothing but the mind, then we are able to confidently, peacefully face the challenge, which means you will most likely come out successful. So therefore, he says, treating alike pleasure and pain, gain and loss, victory and defeat, then get ready for battle. Thus, you will not incur sin, meaning you won't create more agitations. You will in fact reduce vasanas. You will be both peaceful and prosperous. And then he says, this is the wisdom taught to you by Sankhyas. So far, I gave you knowledge. Now I'll talk to you about how to implement this knowledge in the practical world, which is nothing but Karma Yoga. So he says, now I'll talk about Karma Yoga. And then he says, in this, there is no loss of effort. When you do Karma Yoga, there is no loss of effort. When you do selfish action or even unselfish action, there is some amount of involvement. See, for example, we could conduct this Bhagavad Gita class out of selfishness. That I must become famous, etc., could be my attitude when I'm talking with purely egoistic and selfish motive. Or it could be that I have benefited from the Gita. I want everybody to benefit, as many people as possible. I have this tremendous desire, so I want to come and talk. So when I propel my action with desire, which is no problem compared to the selfish, selfish is worst. Compared to that, unselfish is okay. But still, there is ego, that I am doing this to help others. So to the extent the ego is involved, to that extent there will be agitation, there will be expectation that I hope everybody understands correctly. I hope, everybody goes back and does their sadhana. I will get involved. So to that extent, I might make a lot of mistakes while communicating as well. So therefore, the involvement is there a little bit even in unselfishness. But if I do it selflessly means I have been benefited from this knowledge. My guru has been kind enough to give me this knowledge, and few people are interested, and my nature is also to talk. So I might as well talk. You understand? And talking helps me to be in this field, remind myself of what I am supposed to do, how I am supposed to live. So this is my obligation. So purely with obligation and love, just come, do it and get out. You understand? Then I won't create, there is no expectations. There is no desires. So no agitations. Performance will also be better. Success will be better. Everything will be beneficial. Therefore, he says there is no loss of effort in this. Nor is there contradictory result. Nor is there any production of contrary result. In the selfish, definitely contrary results. First of all, agitations and may not be successful. Even if you reach success, you won't be able to retain, etc. Unselfish, little bit of these effects are still there. But the moment you come and do it selflessly, I'm a Kshatriya. See, in this society, everybody has different nature. All of us will have to come together to supplement and complement with each other. You understand? So, therefore, the engineer and doctor to diagnose what has gone wrong with the equipments that he is using to diagnose what has gone wrong with our health. So, doctor needs the engineer. Similarly, when something goes wrong in the engineer's body, doctor has to diagnose what has gone wrong. So engineer needs the doctor, doctor needs the engineer. All of us have different nature. There is nobody superior, nobody inferior. So we understand that all of us are different spokes in the wheel of life. Then we perform our obligation, express our nature. Thus, when we function, then we will also be happy. We'll also benefit. Everybody will benefit. There will be both peace, harmony, and productivity and prosperity. So therefore, he says, you must do your duty. Even very little of this discipline protects one from great fear, insecurity, bhaya. What will happen? What will happen? What will happen? What will happen to this false ego? What will happen to this false ego? We have to rise above our selfishness, ego, wanting to please this little ego. We got to rise above that and then perform karma yoga. So he actually starts talking about karma yoga from verse 45. But in between, he gives few shlokas to talk about the desire-ridden actions, which most of us are involved in. Most of our actions are all desire-ridden. You understand? We are all interested in what will I get, how I can fulfill my desires. I am only interested in fulfilling my desires. So he talks about that. And in Vedas, especially in the Veda Purva Bhaga, I mentioned to you, Vedas are four Vedas are there. Rig, Yajur, Sama, Atharvan. And each of these Vedas have 4 parts to it. Mantra, Brahmana, Aranyaka, Upanishad. The first 3, Mantra, Brahmana, Aranyaka, put together is called Veda Purva Bhaga. Upanishad is called Veda Ant Bhaga. In the Ant Bhaga of Vedas, which is Upanishads, he gives the philosophical content, philosophical portion. How to live, who are you, what is this world, what is your essential nature, how to relate. Everything is given in the Upanishads, which was given after further dilution by Sri Krishna to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita. So the first 3 parts, Mantra, Brahmana, Aranyaka, put together deals with a lot of rituals, the gross and subtle aspects of rituals. And each of these rituals are meant for preparing our inner personality, the mind and intellect, and attuning the body, mind, and intellect to the self, and also to fulfill our desires. Many rituals are prescribed, how to do it, etc. has been mentioned. So you follow that, you do it, you will also fulfill your desires in the world, and you will also simultaneously be purifying yourselves and then getting ready to come to Vedanta Bhag Upanishads philosophy. That's the idea. But unfortunately, a lot of people get involved in the desire-ridden actions. Simply get involved. So he talks about all that from verse number 41 to 44. Then again from 45 to 52, he talks about Karma Yoga. In brief, detailed Karma Yoga is given in 3rd chapter. You understand? In brief, he gives Karma Yoga from 45 to 72. Sorry, 52. So now let's chant shloka number 41.
व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिः एकेह कुरु नन्दन बहुशाखायनन्ताश्च बुद्धयो व्यवसायिनाम्.
So he continues from where he left in 40. He says, in this, intellect is resolute. In this means what? In Karma Yoga. In Karma Yoga, the buddhi is resolute, strong, firm, and one-pointed. O Kuru Nandana. O Kuru Nandana again refers to Arjuna. Joy of Kuru clan. Arjuna is also technically Kaurava only. You understand? But to differentiate between the Duryodhana and his brothers and Yudhishthira and his brothers, we say Yudhishthira, Arjuna, Bhima and all are Pandavas. Duryodhana, Dusasana and all are Kauravas. But Arjuna is also Pandu, who is Arjuna's father, is also Kaurava only, no? He's also from the Kuru clan. So, Sri Krishna is addressing Arjuna as Kuru Nandana, the joy of Kuru clan. You are a beautiful person. See, when you are communicating, 95% or 99% of communication is psychology. Only 1% is message. You know, when you buy any products also, it's all very beautifully packed. You sometimes feel very guilty to open the pack. It is so well packaged. And sometimes people, generally we have attachment. We don't want to really throw out anything. After opening the packet, we don't want to throw away the package. A very nice package. Let me keep it. So the packaging is very important. When you go to the restaurants, maybe they are serving the same food what you eat at home, but the presentation is different. You understand? And the person who comes and serves you also, you know, he appeals to your heart. When they do service like that, even if there is some little bit fault in the food or whatever, you don't mind that much, you know. So in any communication, please understand about 95% is psychology, 5% is message. So what Sri Krishna is constantly doing is, he is going on using different adjectives to address Arjuna, different names. So here he says, Kuru Nandana, your bliss to this Kaurava clan. Technically, in fact also is that, you know, Arjuna is a wonderful person. So he says, oh Kuru Nandana, please understand, when your intellect is guiding your actions, it's firm. Because mind by itself lacks direction or dimension. Mind by itself, if you leave it, it will be a catastrophe. It will destroy everything. So therefore, the intellect pitches up a goal, ideal, something beyond your selfish, self-centered interests. You understand? Then the mind follows. He explains all this in detail in the next chapter also, chapter 3. So I'm not going into too much of details in it. So he says intellect is one-pointed. The sense intellect gives a direction, the mind becomes one-pointed. Intellect fixes the goal, and once the intellect fixes the goal, mind goes in that direction. Is one-pointed, O Kuru Nandana. Many branched and endless indeed are the thoughts of the irresolute. So, if you do not have any goal, any purpose, any ideal in life, you will get up in the morning and then you'll say, आज क्या करूं? चलो, बीरा जी को phone करता हूं. No. नहीं तो I'll call Priyanka. Or I'll message if she doesn't answer the phone. Let me see if she'll call me back. I have nothing to do. Mind goes in all different directions. That's what he's saying. Many branched and endless it is. Whatever it wants, it craves. And you fulfill one, 25,000 more desires come. You fulfill that 25,000, 25 lakhs desire will come. It is endless. The moment you get into living life to merely just please your desires, with no higher purpose or direction in life, you will be constantly pressurized to go on feeding the mind. There will be tremendous demands. You understand? That's all he says. Because it will not be satisfied. Mind can never be satisfied. So therefore he says, many branched and endless indeed are the thoughts of the irresolute. So what is Karma Yoga, basically? Now, He gave all the, knowledge. With that knowledge, you are very clear in your head. Okay, from the Atma point of view, I am the self, Atma. No birth, no death. Nothing to grieve. From the individual Jiva point of view, who am I? Bundle of vasanas. Everyone is a bundle of vasanas. Each one needs to direct their vasanas. You understand? Each one needs to direct their vasanas. So, with my intellect, having come to know what is my Swadharma, I will direct my Swadharma for the welfare of the world, because I've been constantly taking. I have an obligation to give back. I do that without any desire. With love, I do that. Then all benefits are there. We have already seen from all angles: personal, total angle, mental, material. All benefits are only there. Therefore, what do? I fix a higher goal, ideal, that which my intellect is able to think of beyond my body, mind, and intellect. Then I direct my mind towards that action. So, mind starts becoming single-pointed. And when there is focus, there is power. Please understand this. When there is focus, there is power. When you focus the sunlight through a lens on a piece of paper, what happens? It burns it. Isn't it? So, wherever you are able to focus your mind using the buddhi, you will generate a lot of energy and power. You are able to energetically perform, and there is no desire there, selfishness there, no personal motive coming in between and giving you a lot of, stress. So therefore, you will achieve success, you will progress in life. If you don't do that, if you don't fortify your intellect with this knowledge, and if you don't pitch up a higher goal with your intellect, if you just merely live to acquire and enjoy, merely as if acquisition and enjoyment is merely the end and be all of life, end all and be all of life, then what will happen? You will fulfill one desire, 25,000 desires you will crave for. It will produce further. There are Puranic stories where when a Rakshasa was, cut with a sword, the blood of Rakshasa, splashes. And as many drops of blood, so many more Rakshasas come up. Those kind of stories are there. What are they trying to tell? You try to fulfill one desire, you produce more and more desires. More and more desires. You try to first of all, you cannot fulfill all the desires. Therefore, you'll be constantly agitated. And even if you fulfill one or two few, there also you'll want more. The intensity of the same desire increases, and the quantity to crave for many more desire increases. You will never be happy. Not at all. So therefore, he says many branched, bahushaka, anantascha, means endless. Many branched and endless indeed are the thoughts of the irresolute. What will happen is your energy gets drained. You'll go on, acquire, enjoy, acquire, indulge, then slowly you will be frustrated. Therefore, he says, you should do karma yoga. The sense, karma yoga is not an option. Karma yoga is an obligation. It's not an option, it's an obligation. You ought to function in the spirit of karma yoga. But a lot of people think, as if you think you're doing something great, you're doing yoga. Today, in the modern context, the word yoga has come to mean just asanas. Yoga comes from the root yuj. Yuj means to unite. Union, it is. uniting with the origin. You have originated from the self. You have to reunite with the self. So everything you do using the body, mind, intellect to get back to the self is called yoga. When the body is involved, karma yoga. The mind is involved, bhakti yoga. When the intellect is involved, jnana yoga. That's all. So therefore, he says, in this, the intellect is resolute and one-pointed. O Kurunandana. By performing this, you will bring in more joy to yourself and to your clan and to your community. Many branched and endless indeed are the thoughts of the thoughts of energy get dissipated. You get totally frustrated and disappointed. Then he continues further. We'll chant 42, 43, 44 together. They are taken up together.
यामिमां पुष्पितां वाचं प्रवदन्त्यविपश्चितः वेदवादरताः पार्थ नान्यदस्तीति वादिनः कामात्मानस्वर्गपराः जन्मकर्मफलप्रदाम् क्रियाविशेषबहुलां भोगैश्वर्यगतिं प्रति भोगैश्वर्यप्रसक्तानां तयापहृतचेतसां व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिः समाधौ न विधीयते.
The unwise meaning people who do not have the knowledge that was given between shloka number 11 and 30. The unwise utter flowery speech, rejoicing in the letters of the Vedas, O Partha, O Arjuna, saying, there is nothing else than this. So when it refers to, when he says letters of Vedas, what he means to say is, they resort to the karma kanda portion. They resort to the ritualistic portions. They resort to the Veda Purva Bhaga. There is nothing else than this. No need to take up Vedanta and all, Upanishad and all. You have to just do these rituals. That's it. You are told in the Vedas, you get up in the morning, do this, do this, do this, do this before you go to bed. सब कुछ करना पड़ेगा, बस उससे ज्यादा कोई नहीं, उसके अलावा कोई नहीं. So the unwise utter flowery speech, rejoicing in the letter of Vedas. When I just mentioned to you, letter of Vedas means Veda Purva Bhaga. O Partha, saying there is nothing else than this. And then obsessed with desires. They are just living life merely to fulfill desires. That's it, nothing else. With heaven as ultimate goal. So, he says, obsessed with desires, with heaven as ultimate goal of birth and action. They prescribe many specific rites for attainment of pleasure and power. That's their interest. They are just interested in fulfilling their material desires, physical desires, emotional desires, intellectual desires, and satisfy the ego and gain power. That's all. Nothing else they are interested in. And after having ruled in this world, they know one day the body will die. उसके बाद क्या? सीट बुकिंग करना हेवन में. हेवन में सीट बुक करके वहां जाके एंजॉय करना. पूरा लाइफ में उनका ध्यान सिर्फ इंटेलिजेंस में है. You understand? Obsessed with the desires, with heaven as ultimate goal of birth and action, they prescribe many specific rites for attainment of pleasure and power. You know, in the Vedas it is there. You do this, you do this for so many days. with certain bhav, you will attain this result. So they are just interested in that. Next he says, those who are attached to pleasure and power, whose minds are drawn away by that, means that flowery speech, have no determined intellect fixed in samadhi, God consciousness. And they have no goal of self-realization. Forget self-realization. Even in the world, they have no unselfish goals or anything. All they are interested is fulfill the desire, become more powerful. Nothing more, nothing less. They cannot think big. Everything is chota chota thinking. Small-minded people. This desire I must fulfill. This life is just to make merry. Khao piyo maja karo. That's it. No goal, nothing. No thinking of contributing back to the society. Nothing of this sort. And they will be quoting Vedas. More than you, they will quote. See, in this line, it is saying like this. See, in this, it's saying this. See, in this, it's saying like this. There are shlokas in Bhagavad Gita, in different chapters. When we get there, I will point out. You remember this day, whatever I said. I hope you'll remember. I will point it out to you. Forget then. So far, you don't have to wait. Just wait for a while. When verse number 46 comes, maybe next week I'll do that. If not today. There itself he says. So, it's very interesting. They have not gone through proper study. Proper study, reflection, nobody wants to do. Supposing, the other day Priyanka called me for a puja. I couldn't go because I'm in Chennai. If I was in Delhi, I would have gone. Now, all of us must, none of us say that you should not do puja and all. So just because we are reading these shlokas, don't think that we are against pujas. But the point is, if there is some puja or yajna or something, yajna means not Gita Jnana yajna, not knowledge yajna, the fire ritual, unbelievable number of people will participate. But when it comes to studying, reflecting, who is interested? A realization of the self, Are Baba, you, please, if you want, you do. Don't waste our time. Hardly anybody is interested in it. You understand? Now, that's what he's saying. They are lost in the words Veda Vada Rataha. They're going on quoting Veda, verse number 1, aisa bol rahe. Verse number 2, aisa bol rahe. Verse number 3, aisa bol rahe. Pura din, they'll keep quoting Vedas. Monday, they're supposed to do these rituals. Tuesday, this. Wednesday, this. Every day they have one schedule. And they're only doing that. 24 hours, 365 days. They're just going about doing those rituals. And that also very mechanically. Purely to fulfill their desires. Nothing else. Whereas in the Vedas, why the rituals are given, I mentioned to you in the beginning. It is given for Chitta Shuddhi, Chitta Ekagrata. See, everybody has to constantly grow. Isn't it? When I joined my school, there was one fellow. He had failed and he is studying with me. But he didn't fail last year. He's been failing last 5 years in the same class. The fellows who joined with him are now in 10th standard. He's still in 6th standard. So next year they gave him TC and sent him back. Sorry, Baba, you leave the school. You have to grow. You have to go to the next stage. From Brahmacharya, you have to go to Grahastha. From Grahastha, you have to go to Vanaprastha. From Vanaprastha, you have to go to Sannyas. Then you have to attain Gyan. That's when you become full man, full woman, full human. And that full human is whom they call as God-man. Today, the word God-man is now a very dangerous word to say. You understand? One person told me, God-man is not God-man. It is goddamn man. You understand? In other words, it's become a very derogatory term. God-man simply means, at least we use it in this way, that is, one who is merged with the consciousness. One who has realized the self, enlightened person, wise person. We have the potential to grow to that height. We need to use this life to grow to that height. At least to some height we have to grow. Not stay put constantly. Stagnate. Please understand, stagnation is sin. It's the worst form of sin. So we got to constantly move, keep progressing, keep growing towards the self. So in the words of Vedas, these fellows are involved. They mechanically do the rituals, simply try to go on, fulfill their desires. Nothing else they are interested. There's so many rituals are there. If you want children, okay, do these rituals. You want wealth, do these rituals. You want power, do this. सबके लिए, in fact, in Chennai, little outskirts of Chennai, there is one temple for Kubera. On a particular day, every day also there is crowd, but on a particular day, you go there, unbelievable crowd. And crowd coming from all different places. So what? Kuber is so rich. So you go and do these pujas, you will also become rich. I am only interested in becoming rich. Rich means what? In their terminology, rich means hoarding wealth. When I hoard wealth, I become rich. They don't understand the definition that we discuss about who is rich, who is poor. In the class, we discuss who's rich, who's poor. Swamiji has nicely given all these things in the book, Fall of the Human Intellect. What is freedom? What is bondage? What is health? What is ill health? What is, who is a materialist? Who is a spiritual person? Who is rich? Who is poor? All that is given there. So who is rich? How do you determine richness? When your desires are more than your assets, you are poor. When your desires are less than your assets, you are rich. It really doesn't matter how much assets you have. You may be having private jet, but that may not be enough because your desires are much more than that. So you are poor. For example, you may have a desire to own a private, you may be owning a private jet, but you may have a desire to buy one private jet every year. One particular year you are falling little short, you won't be able to buy, that's it. You will be agitated. You are poor. मेरे पास क्या है, पैसा कम पड़ गया, क्या करें? You understand? So you become poor. So you are rich when your desires are less than your assets. You are poor when your desires are more than your assets. And what are we doing? Going on feeding the desire. From the time we are born till the time we die, we only feed desire, desire, desire. Why do we send our children to a particular school? Select a particular school. And why? Because in that school, if you study, you will be able to score this much marks. You score that much marks, then you will get seat in this university. You get seat in that university, you will be having colleagues who are also at that level. Then you will go to different jobs. You'll get this much salary. Then you can own these properties, this the material stuff. Whole thing from childhood, the whole focus is acquisition, enjoyment, nothing else. Nothing more than that. So that's what he's saying. You will be using Vedas also for that only. See, mostly we do lectures on Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, different scriptures. That's all we do mostly. Little bit here and there. In certain companies, when they invite us, we go and give a talk. Sometimes we organize some seminars or workshops or retreats. So there the topics will be secret of success or secret of success given in the Gita. Stress management through Gita. Relationship lessons from the Gita. Now more people come. You just do Bhagavad Gita, very few people come. Direct Bhagavad Gita class. Why? वहां पर they are having a specific worldly result. So उसके लिए अगर भगवत गीता can do something, why not? More people. उससे मुझे you do the research, you bring out the formulas, give it to us. Spoon feeders. We'll come. So, end of the day, the mind is interested in the lower. Nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. Please understand this. Because when you consider yourself as this ego personality, insecurity is bound to be there. And out of foolishness, our mind will try to solve the insecurity through material wealth, physical joys, relationships, etc. This is how mind will function. There's nothing wrong in it. All we are saying is don't stay put in that. When there is a door which you can open and get out of it, why not use it? The problem is you don't know which door. And that's what he's saying. Sri Krishna is telling here. So there's nothing wrong. So what Vedas do is they prescribe certain rituals. And for doing those rituals, you have to follow many disciplines. You understand? Certain rituals you do for 30 days, 40 days, there are days prescribed. And you have to do this way, that way, this foods only you should eat, you should contact this, you should not contact. Bahut sara conditions hai. Why all this? Because it develops a lot of control in you. It disciplines you. And if you do it for a certain number of days, it becomes a habit. You understand? For 21 days to 40 days, if you do certain things consistently, it becomes a habit. So your mind starts getting purified. So for Chitta Shuddhi and Chitta Ekagrata, Chitta Shuddhi means purification of your thoughts. Chitta Ekagrata means single-pointedness of the thoughts. Simply, for example, you chant Vishnu Sahasranama, Sri Vishnu Sahasranama or Sri Lalita Sahasranama. Just chanting. You do this. You will develop a lot of Vak Shuddhi, focus, mind Shuddhi. These are all giving bath to your mind. Please understand. You do it properly. A lot of people just chant Hanuman Chalisa, for example. The driver is driving the car and they are mentally chanting Hanuman Chalisa mechanically as they are looking through the window. That is not going to help. As if the ritual in itself, if you do, is enough. They don't understand that also. It's also a science. The ritual brings your mind, body, and intellect in single line if you properly do it. It strengthens your intellect in the sense it develops your faith. It takes away the fear. And in your subconscious, you are instilled the confidence as if you have already got the result. And the subconscious will make you go and do the actions and the results come to you if you properly do the rituals. That's why I said, we are not against rituals. What we talk about in the class is the mechanical performance of these rituals. That will not work. See, what happens is, the moment you understand that, these rituals, if I do, what is happening is, it's preparing my inside. My inside is prepared. I develop confidence. The fear goes. I've surrendered to Bhagavan through an idol in that ritual. So I'm clear in my head that I've already got the result. It's like, you placed an order with Amazon, a Flipkart, or whatever. Now, once you say order, then accepted, order accepted. Either you pay or you say pay on delivery. Order accepted, this delivery will be done on so and so date. You relax. Why? It will come, system is there. Similarly, with the knowledge of the Vedas, you understand there is a system. And it quietens you. It has prepared your mind, keeps your thoughts, and your inside becomes a little more, fortified. Go about doing your actions. After the rituals, when you get back in the world, you won't worry. Will I get the result? Will I get the result? Order place kar diya na. So why bother? You understand? It's like you check in the baggage when you board the flight. Before boarding the flight, you check in your baggage. And then the subconscious is ready, conscious mind is ready. You go about plunging, doing your actions, automatically the results come. So rituals are basically to prepare your mind, intellect, your body, everything. So once the thought goes to the subconscious, see, I'll ask you something. Every one of us want to achieve few things or the other, maybe material, physical, emotional, whatever. And we all take New Year resolution. New Year resolution. What? I must reduce this much kilos. I must save this much money. Whatever it may be. You genuinely want to, and you genuinely want to work for it. But in most of the time, if you see during the New Year, there will be discounts, especially in the gymnasium, in the gyms, the bodybuilding clubs and all that. You'll see 1 year 10,000, 1 year 20,000, monthly 5,000. So fellows enroll for 1 year, and one day they go, or maximum 1 week they go. That's it. Rest of the year they don't go. Most of them. What is happening? The conscious mind wants to do it, but the subconscious mind is not fully into it. Obviously, subconscious only will win. You understand? Subconscious mind is saying, you are unhealthy, I am unhealthy, I am unhealthy, I don't think so, I can be healthy. So what happens in the conscious mind? You want to do, but the subconscious wins over the conscious. You give up. With these rituals and all that, in your subconscious, you will instill what? I have submitted it to the divinity. I am healthy. I am rich. I have already passed. I don't worry about passing or failing, victory, defeat, sab kuch. And the thought of the divinity is also associated with it. So my mind relaxes after the puja and everything. Then with the subconscious, I'll be forced to do the right actions. I have to do the action. Simply because I chant certain shlokas doesn't mean things will come. It will do certain other things, no doubt. But you also have to do your bit. So therefore, all these rituals mentioned in the Vedas, they are potent. They are not useless. But mechanically thinking that if I just do it, that's it. That's not going to help you. You get it? So, when your subconscious is strongly rooted in that, then it will make the conscious mind do the action. If you want to, for example, get up in the morning and you're finding it difficult, you'll do all kinds of things. For example, I remember when I joined the ashram, my biggest problem was afternoon sleep. I sleep for 3-4 hours. I'm not able to control myself. So night I don't get sleep till 11:30, 12. So getting up at 4 o'clock and studying became a problem in the beginning. So I went and spoke to Swamiji. Swami said, no, you must do something or the other to get up in the morning, see how you can, evening study if you don't do, in case you sleep a little bit more also no problem, but try to get up morning, do the study he was telling. I was wondering what to do. So I said, okay, let me take up the responsibility of ringing the bell. Well, I have to ring the bell now. 4 o'clock, I have to ring the bell. So I took the responsibility. I will set the alarm. Whether I sleep properly or not, I used to set the alarm, get up, ring the bell, brush your teeth, and go and say the prayer and come back and sit. By the time you're awake to study. So it became a little bit of an adat. So what I'm saying is, when in your subconscious you deeply want to do it, it will make the conscious do whichever way. You will find the persons. Management also they say, first be clear as to what. Then you bring in the who's, who will deliver it. Then you will automatically figure out how to go about doing it. Management, first is what do you want? What for you are building this industry? What do you want to produce in this industry? How many acres of land you need? How much money you need? What? That is what. Then who? You have to hire people because you can't execute everything. No? So you hire people who will do it for you. The CEO, whoever it is, engineers, whatever, you hire them. Then how to do it? You will automatically figure out. Now we start with how. That's the problem. How is it possible? होता ही नहीं. कैसा होगा? चलो एक पूजा करता है. एक पूजा करके अरे यार मैंने कर दिया कुछ नहीं हुआ. चलो एक और बार करो, दूसरी बार करो, ये मत करो, वो करो, इस भगवान को छोड़ो, उधर जाओ, इधर जाओ. You understand? This is what he's talking about. The unwise utter flowery speech, rejoicing in the letter of Vedas, O Partha, saying there is nothing else than this. Obsessed with desires, with heaven as the ultimate goal of birth and action, they prescribe many specific rites for attainment of pleasure and power. Those who are attached to pleasure and power, whose minds are drawn away by the flowery speech, have no determined intellect fixed in samadhi. Samadhi means ultimate goal, meaning, relatively speaking, no bigger, higher goal. No purpose. There is no direction in their mind. They are only interested in fulfilling the desire, and that also with less effort. मैंने बोल दिया भगवान को, भगवान will write the exam. Right? Which Bhagwan will come and write the exam? You have to write. So what these rituals do is they prepare the subconscious. If you properly do it. And you believe me, when the subconscious and conscious come together, there is no stopping. Nobody can stop you. You will be successful in whatever endeavor you do, whatever you do. So that's why he says these are, it's there in Vedas. You do these rituals, you will get it, and there are stories. People getting the benefit after doing those rituals. But it has to be done with tremendous shraddha. And they only talk about those, in the stories they say, the person chanted these mantras for these many days with shraddha, they ended up with this result. They only talk that. But in between there are so many things, which is what I was explaining. The moment you develop that shraddha, you let go of the obsession. You understand? Now your own obsession becomes an obstacle, biggest obstacle. And the obsession is associated with fear. Obsession and fear will always be together. When you are obsessed, fear is there. Will I get it? Will I get it? Will I get it? So when the obsession gone, fear also gone. Instantly you feel empowered. You could conquer anything. That's how you feel. I'm not saying it out of ego, you'll feel like that, but you will generally feel like that. Relaxed, because so much of burden has been taken away from you. So that's what he's saying, So you will automatically do your actions that is necessary to succeed in that field. And then you will see the result coming to you. So therefore, this is what the rituals do. They purify your mind, they bring about single pointedness and take you to the next level. Once your desires reduce, then what happens? You'll go to Jnana Marga, Jnana Marga. You understand? So that's why he says, these fellows are only interested in fulfilling desires. They get into it, they get involved, and they destroy themselves. They have no intellect fixed in any higher purpose. So that will not work. Don't be just desire driven, desire ridden. Have a purpose in life and then follow that. Let's conclude now. Oh. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.